Chapter 62-76. Steve nodded and said, "Let them report to Jimmy at that time. And I will also arrange a contact person for Jimmy. And Jimmy will represent them to contact." "No problem," Nate said without hesitation. "These are all up to you. I obey 100%. Steve was very satisfied with Nate's attitude and said with a smile, "I may have to stay in Orus Hill for a while. After I finish my work here and return to the United States. We will have time to have a meal together. I wonder if it is convenient for you?" Nate was even more excited when he heard this and said quickly, "Convenient? Mr. Rothschild, I am always at your disposal." "Okay." Steve nodded and said, "Then it's settled." After that, he looked at the others and said, "This is the end of today's matter. I hope that after you go back, you can cooperate with Nate to connect the work at hand and try not to cause losses to Ellis. We are all adults. As long as we can find a balance point, many unpleasant things can be put behind us." In the minds of these people, Steve's status is extremely transcendent. Such a powerful figure has now become an intimate big brother. These people are flattered and 100% convinced. Therefore, these people nodded repeatedly, with piety and admiration on their faces. And they also regarded Steve's words as the criterion in their hearts. Steve saw that the matter was almost done, exchanged a look with Charlie, and then said, "Okay, I won't disturb you too much for your internal meeting. Before you leave, I will invite you to have a meal at the best hotel in Orus Hill. Everyone must come at that time." Nate and a group of senior partners, who were originally on the verge of a fight, are now smiling and excited, and they can't wait to celebrate. After all, Steve Rothschild invited him to dinner. And he could brag about it for at least 3 years when he returned to the United States. So, Steve walked out of the conference room with the enthusiastic support of the crowd. Charlie and Paul smiled at each other and followed him out from a distance behind the crowd. The crowd kept bowing to Steve and watched him, Charlie, and Paul leave. After walking out of the hotel, Steve immediately asked Charlie with a flattering look on his face, "Mr. Wade, was my performance just now okay?" Charlie nodded. "Of course, it was quite okay." Steve chuckled, "Thanks for your guidance. China is an ancient civilization. Your yin and yang harmony gave me a clear idea at once. And the effect was surprisingly good." Charlie chuckled, "Stop flattering. When it comes to fighting with others, an old fox like you must have more experience than me." Steve nodded and said seriously, "Although I have more experience than you, to be honest, I am not as artistic as you." Charlie looked at Paul and said seriously, "See, they are the world's largest family. Although they are usually arrogant and domineering, they are more humble than anyone else when they should be humble. What's the idiom that says it? Be able to bend and stretch." Paul nodded in agreement and smiled. "Mr. Wade is right. I have to learn more in the future." Steve said embarrassedly, "Mr. Wade, please don't tease me." "No." Charlie smiled and said, "Mr. Rothschild had a good overall control of the situation today. All parties are happy. You have finally understood the harmony of yin and yang." Steve chuckled and said, "Mr. Wade, you are too kind." After that, he quickly said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, I have to trouble you to talk to Mr. Hong later. I will book his restaurant and hold a banquet to entertain these people, so that they will be more loyal."